these are the stupid things that you people just sit down here to keep watching, eh? And you carry yourself nicely like you're on a cloud floating outside the room. You go to the other side. To the extreme right, we have the shaggy-haired boy. That is Mr. Curtis Oluchomalo. And then we have his lovely wife, Soila Shibukosia.
Curtis.
And then we have then we have my lovely wife,
Your little
Jamandas,
Oh
otherwise
my
known
God.
as Josephine.
The lame one.
She's very small and tiny, as you can see.
Yeah.
And then I am Jackton Okore.
Opio, Makolude,
Jamandas. Jamandas also.
Kuna ile jina nyingine kwa unasema
Yeah.
yake nimesahau.
As I was saying, Jackton Okore. People call me, otherwise guys call me JT. So,
JT.
welcome to
Oh
our vlog.
yeah! JT the voiceover.
Welcome to our channel.
Alright, so yeah, as the introduction has gone, really good. By the way, guys, this man right
This
here,
one.
you've heard his voice a lot. A lot of the Kenyan ads that you see,
Can we
the
get
voice
them?
there, utazipata tu.
How?
Ende tuzipox hapo. Wakiwa na David Oyuke Black Skills.
Yeah.
So these are some of the best voiceover artists that this nation has ever seen
Yeah.
and should appreciate. So today we want to talk about the second last installment of the Solidifies series, and today we wanted to talk about how or who introduced you to Zix.
Zix.
Did that sound sexy?
Just leave
No.
it.
Okay.
Side
talking
note.
about-
Side note. When you say Zix,
Sounds
many
like-
people. No. Many people in my campus.
Yes.
Funny story.
Yes.
You say it differently.
They were Malawians, Zimbabweans, so
Oh,
many of them.
so the accent.
There's someone who
Eh.
decided to call me Zix. Like that was my nickname. Some Chiwanda.
This might have been the reason that when I saw our lights were just going.
You're sexy.
No, not related to the topic. we're
But
discussing.
anyway,
No,
but
totally unrelated.
Unrelated.
When I was a fresher in uni, the first day I landed in uni, there's this
Okay,
group
you
of
landed
people.
as we drove into uni.
I landed lanes, Buddha. So, okay, when I came into uni, I was dropped there. And then there was this group of people who are in the uni I went to. We called them doulos, which is servant leadership. And basically, they take you, then they put you in different groups. So you have a group. We used to call them families. So you have a group of different number of people, and then you are given this person who is like supposed to be your mentor during that orientation, and even after the orientation. So the orientation bit was to take you around school, show you where different facilities are, where you can go if you need this kind of help, and blah blah blah. And that whole orientation program took a week. Now the purpose of the orientation is to familiarize you with the university. The purpose of the orientation is to help you see the university based on the introduction that you've been given. It's like it gives you a foundation of how to interact with the campus. And sex operates a lot in the same way. The way you're introduced to sex shapes a lot about your ideas about sex, your perceptions about sex, your fears or your expectations about sex. Now, a lot of people are introduced to sex in different ways. There are people who are introduced to sex, unfortunately, through rape circumstances. Some it's through molestations. Some it's actually through the person they marry. Lucky for such people. And for some, or rather for most people, it's through...
Collins, I see you.
Take a picha yake hapo mbio.
You guys.
I know, right? Guy.
And for some people, they're introduced to sex, which I think majority of the people, especially in our generation and the generation after us, were introduced to sex through pornography. It can either be in movies or magazines or literature, whatever type of pornography it was. Yes, so today we just want to share how we, I don't know if all of us are going to share, but that's the hopeful situation about how we were introduced to sex and what we learned from it and how we think it plays along in the entire soul tie spectrum. Yes, so I believe in respecting my elders. So our elders.
You make us sound so old.
No, even if it's 2 months, you're still our elders. So our elders will open with their
actually
experience.
thought he was talking about, he was using that as a plug to talk about something.
I know.
Who is
It's
referring to us?
introducing to you people. Guys.
Oh, by then I didn't say these guys have been married for
5 years.
5 years. So these are OGs in this thing.
It feels like 60.
60.
Is it because of the joy ama the hardship? You make like no, but that means it's that you've been present a lot, which is good.
Beautiful 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, long, nice, beautiful 60. Did you see how I got out of that?
Yeah. Nice save, man.
No comment.
You how long have you been married?
As we are heading to our 7th year.
Wow.
That's an inside
Wow.
joke. There are people we are talking to. They know. They know.
You start.
Wow, like
Eh?
that couple.
Invite people. You start.
So I opened the floor.
Yeah.
Yes, open the
You
floor.
should
Sawa.
ask how
I remember when I was a mono. I was a 1.
Yeah.
I was in Form 1. And then it was one of those days where the teacher is not in school, but it's during class sessions. So it's a class lesson, but the teacher is not in. So, you know, boys' school, so people are just up and down doing all sorts of things. So I was seated in a front desk, and then I'm hearing some back noise, backbench. So I'm hearing people getting excited, so I look back, and they are flipping through this magazine. So me, I thought, this must be a magazine, either football, they're probably making noise at Akina Theory Henry.
Oh,
So I'm like, probably this is a football magazine, or it's probably a car magazine. You know those Lamborghinis and Porsches. So I'm like, this must be one of those. So I continued what I'm doing. Then I hear a noise and I'm like, this is not the kind of noise you make at a footballer. So I decided, let me go and inspect what this excitement is all about. No, I was just
oh, you're so
Kind of
curious.
because a lot, like half the class was just there. So I was like, let me go check. So I go check and I find this book. Think of like a True Love magazines. You know, this True Love
Yeah.
and Parents, that type of
Purely
magazine.
dedicated to
But it has,
Don't explain what people are doing.
yes, people are doing interesting things.
Oh,
Yeah.
photos of
Photos,
acts.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Photos
Oh,
of
boy.
the acts.
okay.
So I'm looking at this thing and part of my mind is disgusted. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, you know. But another part of my mind, there's this weird excitement. So I'm like,
Your
this
hormones
is
were
disgusting.
raging.
Yeah.
What is up?
But you're confused.
Eh?
What's next? What's next?
I'm like, this is disgusting. What are you doing? Ebu, next page. Yeah. What the heck? Ebu, the next one is in. So it was this place of confusion where you've never seen anything like this. It's shocking, but at the same time, you don't understand why you want to see more.
Yeah.
But I remember after checking that magazine, for the next few months, I actually never bothered to follow up with it. And then later on, I just, it was the days where polyphonic ringtones phones had come out. So I got my new phone, and it was web enabled.
What is
Oh my god.
You don't know polyphonic ringtone?
We're scrapping. Tunatoa your parts.
No, we are not scrapping
We
it,
are
by the way.
scrapping
This
it.
guy
She doesn't know polyphonic.
You guys.
Stays.
Please,
Oh, it's on for
comment section. Can you tell Soila what's a polyphonic?
Yeah.
You know what a
Yani,
polyphonic ringtone is?
so it's like
I had
there's a
one.
certain gap in your life
Me, I wasn't with you.
that you are shipped to the moon and you are completely oblivious of
Jackie, you know what that is?
Yes.
We had those phones.
My first phone was.
We are removing that part.
No, we are not.
Oh, this is a smartphone. The
These
other
are
is a
smartphones,
polyphonic
yeah.
ringtone phone.
So
Okay.
that phone was the first phones that were web enabled. The ones we used to use WAP instead of
Yeah.
www.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to, I was like, hey, let me search, and that's how I started to watch porn. I can't say I was addicted, thank God, but I consumed
Shaped.
quite a bit. I consumed quite a bit. Now, of course, there's a way it shaped how I saw women. There's a way it shaped how I interacted with sex. But before we get into that, now I've opened the floor. Now you know what we are talking about. So the
Yeah, we know
rest
what
to
you're
you.
talking about.
Yeah.
Next man is the table.
No, so that tunaenda na
Oh, so it's
First
next
is the man and then the
table.
women and then women. Yes.
Oh,
So it's men first.
okay.
Sababu zao ndo zinakaa we.
So
Fire.
it's very interesting. First of all, for some reason, when we were growing up, I don't know why the idea that football was the best way to define. It was like the covert naming system for porn. And being the way, the way I was raised, I wasn't that person who was always out there. I was pretty much mostly an introvert. So, football to me meant football. Ball, soccer, football. You know, football. So in high school, I first got introduced to porn in high school. I was at Homo Bay High School, and then I decided, okay, let me play a little bit of truancy, because people were talking about it like it was the most popular thing. And this was the experimentation stage of our lives.
Yes.
So this was where I was seeing guys taking things like the kuberes, those things you put under your tongue, alcohol and all that stuff.
In high school.
In high school. This was in high school. It was sold in high school. There was like a whole cartel that was supplying things in there. And then now there's also the cartel that would get you outside. So when we walk, there was a path we used. We got to the town, and then there was the movies. We got to the movie store, and it was like 5 shillings.
Oh,
And
wow.
then there
So
was
they were called football.
no, but yeah, it was a normal movie store. But now there was Jackie Chan's flick 5 bob. This one 5 bob. There at the bottom there was football. Arsenal versus Manchester United. 5 shillings. Then I asked one of my friends, Kwani, football, do we have to watch a remake of, is it that good? The game was that good that we have to watch it again. Because I was really, and it was pure innocence. So guys are laughing, exactly the way guys laughed. Guys laughed at me and like,
The guys were you in form?
I was in form 2.
The other guys were in form? The same class?
2, 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
So guys are laughing and I'm like, I don't know what's funny, but anyway, if you want to watch ball, it's okay, let's go and watch. It's not bad anyway. I can learn something because I was playing ball at the same time. I was playing as a goalkeeper when I was in the second floor alongside basketball. So we go inside. It's a dark, dingy room.
Serious.
And then they have this massive screen. For some reason, those movie stores had the best screens on the planet. But on the outside, it's mabati, you know,
It just looks dingy.
corrugated tiles. It looks very dingy. But when you get inside, the sound system is amazing. The screen is amazing. And then the benches are just the wooden benches that you find like in the really old churches. Those pew kind of benches.
Yeah.
We get in, I find so many people. I'm like, hey, this place is popular. Okay?
This match is popular.
This match must be the one. This match is the truth.
It's Arsenal.
So I know, that's whatever.
So I even commented, I was talking to my pals, like, hey, Maze, ball, kuna venye, it seems to. And my pals, they know exactly what they're doing. So they're like, well, good, match ni fiti. You have no idea, this match is the one.
Yeah.
So we sit down, I paid my 5 bob. Then there was like a curtain-like door that is closed, and then the whole room just went dark. Then they put in the Manchester versus Arsenal. Is it Manchester versus Arsenal? Yeah, Arsenal, yes. Then they put it in. It starts playing. So I'm watching, and then I'm seeing.
It actually starts with the football.
No, it doesn't. It's just the flick just starts. There's the logo, anything.
Oh,
and then porn is really
goodness.
done well. There's the
like
logo
a
and
movie.
everything, like a movie. The movie starts playing, and the 2 characters show up, obviously male and female, and they look like they're so much in love. By the way, it's like they've not seen each other for a while. So I asked my pal, hey boss, the commercial break ama ni nini inaanza saa ngapi?
Ama ndio footballer.
Wewe unangoja ball, mimi nangoja ball. I'm still waiting for football. Yeah, akasema nyamaza to watch. So this me, I was like, whatever goes on in these video places, I don't know, let me just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Then after like 5 minutes, I'm like, hey, okay, he really likes this girl. I'm like, oh, he really likes this. Then the next thing I'm like,
What is
What is going on?
I tap my pants like, wait, boss. And it's a shh. And then I look around at the rest of the audience. The audience is focused, silent, and quiet, and most of them, their legs are crossed and they're just like this.
You know, I wish.
Yani, it's like mesmerized and on the spot.
Yeah. How do I don't understand how men watch pornography together.
And it was pure silence.
You
It
see
was
them
like
in high school.
it was like a controlled environment. Now when they really got into it, that's when I realized, football.
Light bulb. Ping.
No, you are. Oh my goodness, now you are
I
introduced.
literally started sweating. I literally started sweating.
What's
It
happening?
wasn't the first time I was introduced to sex because with movies and everything, you tend to see what's happening. And
Yeah.
You can make out
Yeah.
something's happening
Yeah.
there. This was
Yeah.
full blown.
In your face.
In your face.
That was too bad.
A football match in your face.
That was bad.
It
Up close.
It was up close, and there was what bothered me the most was that there was complete silence. It's like I was the only person who was
Who's
new to this
bothered?
thing here. Everyone else was okay. They were fine with their crossed legs or whatever it is.
Whatever it's.
I'm sweating. I couldn't wait for that thing to end.
Oh,
So
wow.
luckily, I think the lights went or something. The generator. They're using a generator. Then the generator powered down because of fuel. I was like, well, it was
20 shule, this is not-
Let's
it's
go
never
back
worth
to
it.
school.
Oh my
It's
God.
never that serious.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's how I was deep. I was basically deep.
Baptized.
I was baptized on the
By
deep
fire.
end. So when I'm leaving the place, I'm like, football,
What?
guys, football, really football.
Yeah.
So how do you feel nowadays when you see Man U and Arsenal having a match?
Yeah, but it stuck to me for a while. For like 2 to 3 years. I remember anytime, even when I got home, I started to realize apparently even some of my schoolmates who were in primary school used
That's
to watch
what they
porn
used to
because they tell me they're going to watch football. They kept saying that and they would say it in a very cheeky way.
Yeah.
That's when I realized
It's actually-
I had the train literally went over my head. People were actually watching, and this is interesting, people were watching porn by the time I was in class 6, 7.
That's like 12,
Wow.
13.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's like 12, 13.
Yeah.
It's just enough for me, that's when it came about. It's interesting and unusual at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I know.
The ladies,
I think like what Jack has
Ama
said.
you are dropped from heaven into
Yeah.
your wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, as
How
yeah.
now?
But like, what is that? Me, I knew that from cartoons. I'm not even lying. And you're okay. I think for how I grew up, my dad would watch what you're about to watch before we watch it as kids. So he wouldn't allow us to watch certain movies. So him and my mom would watch them first. So
Oh,
I don't know, but I remember some of the movies that would watch, and they would have certain parts. But what happened with my dad, he would forward them.
Oh.
So we never got the opportunity to watch them. But I was like a bit curious, why is he forwarding these things? So for me, I didn't have the okay, as we were brought up in church, so I didn't have the guts to go forward and look for these things. So what happened, I think we had closed school, I was at home, finished cleaning, and then there was a policy in my house that don't watch TV during the day. So even what my dad did, he actually removed the TV from the living room to his room. So we wouldn't watch, and then he'd lock it down. There's a way you connect it. We didn't know we were ladies. So the only time we'd watch TV when we come back home and then bring the TV back to the living room, put a movie, or just connect the Kawaida channel and watch news, watch Machachari, the Machachari for those days. That's what we'd watch. But now, my auntie, I have an auntie who's not around right now. She's abroad, but she used to do a lot of sewing, a lot of cooking. So my mom got a lot of books from her when she left. There was so many magazines, I think on homemaking stuff. She was interested in such things. So what I do is just go and look through the magazines, learn recipes. I think that's when I started learning how to cook food. Then I came across it wasn't like pornography magazine, just a Kawaida magazine, but this section that says the love section. You see how parents is? There's a love. Oh, me and my boyfriend are going through this.
Yeah.
What do I do? I'm like, oh, interesting. This is the most fun. And these are the things that my dad forwards on TV. I'm like, oh, let me read these ones.
You found the juicy
Yeah, I
spots.
know that this is food. No, I started looking for this magazine. My dad and my mom used to buy a lot of parents. And so me, I'd go for that part, and I'm like, oh, this is the most interesting part, and just learn about it. So for me, that's when I was introduced to it. From the magazine, that section of Parents Magazine, where people sharing their struggles. And then I think there was just a place called the sex
Yeah.
part.
They have
Away
sex, a lot
from
of
yes,
sex, whatever.
advice.
To love your man,
Yes,
to
five
seduce.
ways, exactly. I'm like, oh, interesting. This is what men and women do. But I didn't even have the courage to go ahead with it. So for me, I just accumulate the information in my head and move forward. But that's when I learned about sex and the different ways men please women, women please women, even how to please yourself.
Women please women.
Yeah.
In parents.
Okay, but I didn't
Not in
so women
parents.
pleasing
Not in
man,
parents.
but also you pleasing yourself. They also used to have such segments, you pleasing yourself. I'm like, oh, interesting. Oh, all right. So for me, that's how I started taking in the information about sex. Yeah. Literature.
That was when?
I can't.
High school?
No,
Primary.
Late
Yeah.
primary.
not even late primary.
6, 7,
Me,
8.
yeah, 6, 7, 8, late primary actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yours.
Because I was really limited on some of this technology
Yeah.
stuff and everything. Those are the only things I could access that had that information. Yeah. Look at just
So now probably, now probably when you see your dad rewinding, you'll be like,
I know what
I know what you're doing.
what you're forwarding actually. Ish.
You know what you should have done out of those days? You'd have removed the battery from the
From the remote.
Oh no.
You switched the whole thing.
No, when you have grown up, even right now when their supervisors playing on TV, when it's coming, you have to change stations.
But you know, I came to realize no matter how grown you are, it's still weird
It's still weird.
What
to watch certain scenes with your
Your
parents.
parents, yeah.
So they
Yeah.
change the station.
But for me, when those scenes come, that's when my eye is itching.
Or you start a story.
Or you start
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys, do you?
Yeah.
Or you're on your phone.
but then ours was clear cut. My
Mm.
mom it's a no nonsense issue.
Uh,
You sit through it and then something
No way.
something erotic starts to happen.
Yeah.
She'll just be quiet. She's waiting to see if you're going to do anything about it. And you don't do anything about it, then she goes like, these are the stupid things that you people just sit down here to keep watching, eh? And you carry yourself nicely like you're on a cloud floating outside the living. You go to the other side.
Oh wow. Stupid.
And stupid was emphasized. Stupid.
You're just sitting
So
here
it's me.
yeah.
My story is not so different from Soila. Being raised in a Christian home, obviously. So your parents always want to know what you're watching and stuff.
Yeah.
Ours, the TV never used to be taken away.
Oh.
It used to be locked. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Units.
Yeah, with the doors.
yes.
Yeah, so
We still have one.
ours used to be locked. There was still no policy for watching TV during the day and
Oh,
all that, yeah.
really?
But for some reason, I don't even remember how we started watching The Bold and the Beautiful.
That's when we just go to bed. I
We used to be
remember.
chased to go to bed,
Yeah.
but for some reason, there are days we pretend we've gone to sleep, you wait for the parents to go, then you sneak back to the sitting room. Okay, mom,
I
don't
used to
watch
do-
this. You go and put very minimal volume, like you
And then you
literally
sit
like
there,
this.
there.
You're literally like this. You're the screen.
That's screen to watch. Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, obviously, the Bold back those days was really, that is
Bold.
Bold.
They even used to put a disclaimer.
Yeah,
on
disclaimer,
TV.
yes.
Yeah, over
yes,
18.
Over 18,
I don't know if they
strictly.
do nowadays.
It used to be PG-rated.
Yeah.
The scenes were crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
back then,
it had a lot of-
I can't remember.
As a kid, it was a lot.
as a kid it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, as a kid it was a lot.
Yeah,
So
it's just a
that was
bit.
my first introduction.
Encounter to it.
But then when I was in primary school, I used to love reading novels. I was one of those kids who, my God, in the middle of a math class, niko hapa.
Kita text your mother.
Textbook ya math niko hapa.
Ndani kuna kitu.
Novel hapa. Niko busy. Yes. So I have a Mills and Bones over here. You know those Mills and Bones used to have like
Like erotica.
they are writing everything.
Yeah.
So it's you who has a vivid
Yeah, you-
imagination to
Yeah.
create that world
Yeah.
for yourself. So yeah, I think that was my introduction to sex because
Literature.
it
Yeah.
used to have a lot of that heavy stuff, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh wow.
We used to exchange. We used to exchange. Oh, ukimaliza hiyo nipe.
Yeah.
Ukimaliza give me.
Unipatie.
Yeah. So it was just a whole. It was a primary school. I think it was pre-teens. 7, class 6, 7.
Yeah.
That's 11, 12.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very,
So how
very
did that
interesting.
experience for you shape your?
So for me,